We've heard a lot of fantastic thoughts, very inspiring thoughts today so far. We even heard some ideas about our future. And one of the future forecasts that we've seen on the screen was that humans may need to leave the planet. So this is the reality that we're living in. And for myself, it became a part of my daily job. Because I work for a European international organization, so all the environmental, social responsibility issues and objectives are becoming a part of our job on a daily basis. And I know how important is this process. I don't want to say event, because COP29 is not an event. Some people think that it's just something as a conference, very huge one, maybe the largest that Azerbaijan hosted so far, and we will host it this year. This is obviously a very big spotlight for the country and shows the importance of this topic for the country and for the leader of the country, of course. But it is not only the conference, it is far above the conference, it is the process. So, Nigar, can you say us a little bit more, just so that we're all aligned? Let's not talk about 2 weeks that are going to ruin our traffic, and will attract lots of people to the country. But please tell us about what it is in reality and what it is about.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, congratulations to Tanya and to the whole team for this amazing event. It's great to be here, actually. I can see the audience. And well, basically, you mentioned that, and the previous speaker has said that we may need to leave the planet, actually. I believe that if we do everything right, we won't need to leave the planet.
Hopefully, news.
Yes. So, well, yes, we keep hearing about COP, and everyone, including our companies, people around, seem to start to understanding what it's all about. But I will give you just short information about the overall process, what it is about. Well, basically, COP is Conference of the Parties. So there's a UNFCCC, we call it. So it's the UN Convention on Climate Change. The thing is that the climate change is becoming a real thing for everyone. So yes, in our country, in our region, we feel it less than maybe in some places in Africa or some island states, because they see the impacts every day. In our case, we see it by the Caspian Sea level, which is going down, for example.
And also by a lot of rain that we had in the May.
We do, and also the people that work in agriculture sector, they can feel it. But in general, our people, let's say, they are not very much informed about the climate change impact to the world. But that's a real thing, and the reality is that the human behavior affects nature. Yes. Nature and global climate have been changing for years, always. That's the nature of the planet. But this time, it's different. And scientists are saying that if the global warming continues to be the way it is, we will face completely different situation in our planet. So the whole discussion is around of keeping the global warming to 1.5 degrees. COP is the Conference of Parties. So this is basically the UN countries that are coming together to discuss their commitments, to discuss their obligations, and to discuss how they can make sure that their emissions are being controlled, let's say. So, and the process has started since 1995, and this time we will have COP29 in Baku, which is a huge honor for us, I must say, and it's a great responsibility, honestly. And the honor because Azerbaijan is a small country, but this is the important decisions that are being taken in Azerbaijan. And we are a great bridge between East and West, between North and South, and we are a true and honest broker between all the sides. So the overall discussion will be around the climate agenda, will be around the climate finance, which I can share your information about what it is. So, the climate agenda has been discussed for many years now, as I said, but during our COP, the main subject is climate finance. What does that mean? The climate transition, the transition to green energy is extremely expensive. So it's the trillions of dollars that we are talking about. How it's going to be done? Small states, island states are saying that we are having existential threat. So basically we are dying here, and you big countries are discussing, and there are no decisions. We need money to adapt, to mitigate and adapt to the situation. Large developed countries are saying that, okay guys, we are ready to give the finance, but what are the mechanisms? What are the transparent mechanisms? So this is very, in a simple words, of course it's much more complicated in reality, and this whole discussion is being carried out for many years now, and we are now, Azerbaijan, our lead negotiators team, are working with the government to bring them all to some consensus on that issue.
Thank you very much, very interesting. So it is a long process. It's a process that will continue after COP29, obviously. But it's amazing to see that Azerbaijan will play a significant role in bringing everyone together, and especially talking about something as important as finance, very close to my heart. Yes, for me, personally, of course, it's a big honor that Azerbaijan is taking such an important and responsible role, as you said, in the whole process. But for me personally, as a citizen, it's also important that the process continues after COP29, so that it's not like a page turned for the country, and we continue to actually put real efforts into transforming the economy, transforming our lives. So here in the room, most of the women are either employees of the businesses or the owners of the businesses. So obviously the whole idea of the saving of the planet is now becoming real and in everyone's lives. And obviously for businesses, this transition is an important step. They have to adapt, as you said. So can you talk about or reflect about what it represents for the businesses in this country? How they can take or maximize the impact of the current events, of the focus on this point right now, and take it beyond this year?
Well, you're absolutely right that COP is not an event, it's a process, and it will pass. But the impact of this discussion we will have it on all the sectors of our country, on tourism, on economy, we will have, and I can feel it right now. You know, we travel a lot, we meet with people, and we see that Azerbaijan is on the spotlight now. And we see such a huge interest from global corporations, from big philanthropy organizations, from governments. So, and this knowledge that will come, it will stay here. So our goal is to have that legacy, so that our businesses also benefit from it. Because technologies will come, solutions will come, and this is something that we need and will stay with us. And every time that we have big event, we do have a record of organizing large-scale events, be it sport events or some other kind of political events, but this one is definitely the biggest one because of the scale and because of the overall political weight. Speaking about the businesses, this is exactly what a high-level champion's role is to engage with non-party stakeholders. Because the one thing is that we discuss with governments, as I said, so what are their contributions, what are their commitments. But COP is not only about the government, it's about, there are many stakeholders that are part of this process, including businesses, civil society, like philanthropy organizations, cities, municipalities, investors. So all these groups, NGOs, they are all part of COP process. And high-level champion's role is to be a bridge between them, to engage them, to make their voices heard. Business sector is a priority for us, because if we speak about some real achievements, if we speak about climate finance, you cannot achieve these goals without business. So only governments will not be able to have a real impact on the climate finance issue. We need businesses. Not only large corporations, we do need SMEs as well. But businesses and businessmen, they honestly, let's be honest, they don't want to save a planet. So if you are a businessman, you are going to bank, you are taking credit, and you need to have a business case there. You need to see the benefit. So this is something that we would like to convince our business sector that there are benefits in green transition. There are. We just need to adjust to them, to adapt. Yes, it's not easy, especially for SMEs. And my pain point is SMEs.
And it's very costly, actually.
It is costly.
It's a costly process at this point.
It's so complicated because if you are a businessman, you need to adjust to new standards, to new regulations, to new style, to new requests, and it's not easy. For big companies, it's easier because they do have access to finance, they do have access to media, they do have access to, I don't know, technologies. It's much more complicated for SMEs, but there are business cases. So at the moment they adjust, they will start seeing that, that business cases there, the benefits there. Yes, it's going to take some time, but we do now, we work, and I personally meet with people from different parts of the world. They all have their aspirations, they all have their issues, but we do have really good cases when the companies in Nepal, for example, they have adjusted and to the green transition, to new economy, and they have a really good profits out of there.
So yeah, exactly. Maybe the company should look at it as an investment into the future, but not as a cost. You know, because for now this is quite a costly process.
It is,
but environmental. Well, and socially responsible as well. It's not only about becoming green, using recycled paper, but also to invest into something, into new technologies, into new ideas, and maybe transform the company. But it is the future, so it's sort of investment in the future.
Yeah, I think it's all about the dialogue between governments and the business sector, because there should be some incentives for businesses to be able to make that transition. And but the business sector need to support governments to come up with new ambitious plans and to have that, you know, open and transparent mechanisms. So it's about dialogue, and of course every country is making its own decisions, and I believe, for example, in regional dialogues, and we see it in case of Azerbaijan. We see when Azerbaijan, for example, just a few weeks ago, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, they came up with new green transition agreement, and we do have this kind of cases. So this is something that we need to aim to integrate regionally, you know, to work with our neighboring countries. But again, answering your question, yes, it's very complicated, it's not an easy process, but there is a business there, there are lots of opportunities and businesses. And for us, the thing that we see now is that there are huge technological advances that will come to our country. There are new opportunities, there are green jobs that will be open, that will appear on the market, and there are lots of things. So we will have the impact for years to come. And this is actually, every big event that we have brings its impact. Even sport events, I was involved in that. And yes, we've been blocking the whole city for Formula One.
But everyone knows Azerbaijan because of that.
Yes, and we did have and we do have direct and indirect benefits out of that. The same thing, and in a much, much bigger scale, is something about COP.
So it's a lot of thanks for that. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, as you said. And you slightly anticipated my question about what is the role of the champion. So you already said that you're responsible about the bridging governments and business communities. So what it is about in reality, and what do you do?
Well, thank you, Teyba. It's the role, very interesting role, very unique one, I would even say, because as I said, there are governments and we have lead negotiators team that are working with the governments, but there are many stakeholders outside that scope, but they are part of the process, like not only businesses, like NGOs, civil society, like philanthropy, cities, municipalities. They all have great contributions to this process. They are part of it, and with their involvement, we are able to achieve some goals. And we are working with them on.
Do they take it seriously?
Yes,
is
yes,
there this
they do.
understanding across the different stakeholders?
Absolutely, that's a huge process, global process. Like NGOs are being, for example, they are being grouped to 9 constituencies on subject: environmental NGOs, women and gender, I don't know, and others, young people. So there are many, many stakeholders to this. They are very passionate about. Very passionate, and they are being a part of it, and it's really, you know, the moment I was just outside of this process, I couldn't even think of our planet being so fragile in reality. So now that I am in, and I see people, I travel, I understand all the depths of the issue, I see how fragile the planet is. I see how people from island states are coming and saying that we are suffering. Like we are a small state, but we have floods. We have the level of ocean is going up. And we will not exist in years to come. So this is what they say. And this show brings us again to the issue of small habits that we can make in our lives that will impact the overall environment around us.
So obviously the process is changing you already personally, and it's changing the society. So let's talk about women, because we are here talking a lot about the role of the women in different aspects of our lives. So obviously women are an important part of gender equality initiatives and efforts that are put together across the world. But within the COP29, what is the role of women?
There's a big, let's say, role of women. In reality, women are being affected disproportionately by the climate change. We see it all over the world. There are vulnerable groups like women and children. They are being disproportionately affected by many other negative crisis situations. And we also, there's a statistic which says that 80% of people displaced because of the climate change impacts are women. 80%, so 80, which is a big number. And women have less access to finance. Women has less access to jobs, because just think of a place and where the hurricane or some other catastrophe happened, disaster happened, and then there are construction works. Construction is mainly for male. So women they are lacking access to basically everything. So for me, if you speak about women and climate and women and COP again, it's a process. So you need to create mechanisms for women to have access to data, access to finance, and access to jobs. And in reality, whatever you ask me, whether it's climate issue or any other issue, I think that women and girls need to be given a chances to be financially independent. This is the key to everything. If we speak about women, there are many women that have startup ideas. They are entrepreneurs. They want to come up with some solutions, but they are not keen to going to banks and taking credits. For them, failure is much more painful than for men.
It's interesting to see that the same topics, like for women to be more financially independent, to have access to the jobs, to have access to the finance, all those topics been around for quite some time. But it's interesting to see that how important they are now, even within the climate change issues that we are facing as a humanity, as a planet. So that shows that the issue is really there, and it has to be taken now to the next level, probably. So you think there will be some dedicated topics related to this issue during this process, or I know that it was an agenda of the past COP28. It was the focus, some sort of with the theme, but I think the theme is still there. So the issues are still there. So they will be apparently reflected again within COP29 discussions. So is there any special dedicated agenda on that?
Well, it was one of the priorities of high-level champion of COP28, my colleague Razan Al-Mubarak, and she has raised this issue, consistently speaking about that and having many events within COP process. In my case, I will be mainly focusing on business sector and women entrepreneurs. So from that perspective, we are very aligned, we are working together to raise this issue. For me, it's extremely important to have, to show the stories of women, to the world. Business is a priority, business sector engagement, and within that, women and business. So, there is within COP, there is a women and gender constituency, as I said. It's one of the directions of kind of NGO groups that are constantly being part of the process and constantly raise this issue about women having more access to all the, let's say, opportunities existing within climate agenda. And as I said, in our case, as high-level champion, I will do my best to showcase and to raise this issue. But it's really something that the whole world need to look at differently. As I said, like statistics show that women are vulnerable groups and they are being impacted by climate change, and we need to give them more chances.
Right, but on the good side, I mean, this is the opportunity also for women to come up with new business ideas, because, you know, this is the right time.
Absolutely.
And obviously they will be supported stronger than it was before, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if we speak about our society, I think that in many cases, women have a kind of a stereotype that they will fail. But mainly it's in their brains. That in reality, if they start something, they won't fail. There are many opportunities for them, but I don't know why still our girls and women think that we live in a patriarchal society, which is true, but it doesn't mean that someone will not give them a chance. So as long as you do something, as long as you start, it's gonna be okay. So it's my true belief. Yes, there are glass ceilings, so we are living in patriarchal society, but there are many restrictions in women's brain.
And it's changing. I mean, the environment is changing. So, yeah, I keep on repeating. I can just echo what you said. So I keep on saying that, you know, the opportunities are there. Just try, and then you will realize that most of the things are possible to put in place, to implement, and actually that will give you even more energy to try more. So, yeah, and I think the environment is changing, not only in our country, not only in the region. Globally, in some parts of the world, this process started earlier, but I can say that in the region, and because I'm covering the larger region, I can say for a few countries, not only Azerbaijan, the process is really going and taking up speed. So, you know, now for women, they just have to try.
Absolutely, and the government is doing
see
lots
this
of
sense,
things.
you know, now go for it.
Agree, and there are lots of opportunities. The government is trying to kind of to address all those challenges and doing lots of things to help our women. And women need to be braver, I guess, and I wish that. And I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic.
Most of them are here.
Yeah, they are brilliant, they are brave, they are equal, and they are very smart.
Thank you very much. Thank you.